All right at the intro, let's get this out of the way. The word homage, or homage, depending on how you like to pronounce it, has taken on a different meaning in the watch world over the past 10 to 15 years. It used to be a watch that had elements of another, a similar look or vibe, and one that could potentially fill the same role, but not a clone or a copy. That's what this Echo Neutra 1956 3H model is to me. It immediately reminded me of the Bell & Ross V292 series. It's got that vibe. A similar round case, the 12, 3, and 9 on the dial, there's a logo in place of the 6, and a domed sapphire crystal. That's where it ends though. While similar in aesthetic, the case, bracelet, and crown are all different. But it's a good alternative, and it's a cheaper alternative at around $800 compared to $3,000. Oh, and the best part is this new color, warm gray. It's wonderful. I'll talk all about it in this video, so let's get to it. I am in love with this dial color, and warm gray is the perfect way to describe it, as it's like a beige gray. Because of lighting and that domed sapphire, it can look more beige at times, but it's less silver and has that beige or taupe color mixed with gray. And not only does it bring that vintage feel to the watch, it's just a color I've never really seen before, and it was the first thing that attracted me to this Echo Neutra 1956. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so before I discuss the rest of the dial, who is Echo Neutra? The brand was started in 2019 and they are based out of northern Italy. Inspiration comes from a lot of the scenery and landscapes in the Alpines and other parts of Italy and Switzerland, and the watches are designed in Italy and made in Switzerland as they are marked Swiss made on the dial. This 1956 model is of course vintage inspired, and that brings up what kind of watch this is. Like the Swiss Army I recently reviewed, this is one of those watches you wouldn't call a dive watch, nor is it necessarily a field watch, but I would say it leans more field watch if anything. It's also just a go everywhere, do everything type of watch, as it's a good size, shape, and it's got 100 meters of water resistance and a screw down crown, something the Swiss Army did not have. It's also running the same movement as well, the SW200-1, and it's about $300 cheaper than that VSA. Alright, but back to this dial and why I fell in love with this watch when I saw it posted on their Instagram. I have a love for that aforementioned Bell & Ross watch, I'll post a pic here again, and that's the main reason this one caught my eye. This model has existed for a while with other dial colors, but I never really took notice until I saw this warm gray color, as it just really stood out to me. And I also do love the dial layout. It's not a copy of the B&R beyond the numbered indices, and like I said, even then it's missing the 6 as the 1956 logo is in place of it. I also like that the hands and indices and numbers are all black with just lume put on the hands. The black looks great against the warm gray, and nothing on the dial really reflects off the light, though that dome sapphire can affect how the dial looks at times, but that's the same with any watch with this type of dial. Adding just a pop of color is the light red and white tip of the second hand. Now, as you guessed, not a lot of lume on the dial, but that bezel is lumed. Here's a quick look at it in the dark, and what's interesting is that this bezel would be lumed at all. What I mean is, it's a fixed bezel. It does have a black ceramic insert, which is nice, but it has a mountain where a pip would normally be, and then just your standard 5-minute increment numbers and markers. Without being able to turn it, it doesn't really help to be loomed, but I'm okay with it, even if it's a little gimmicky. The case is beautiful though, a great combo of brushed steel and high polish. It's sleek and not too thick. And the crown, while I'm able to grip it and use it without issue, I think it looks somewhat generic. The rest of the watch, the dial, that bezel, they have a lot of character to them. This crown seems like an afterthought. I would have liked something a little wider, something that slopes outward in the middle and then tapers towards the top. But on the other hand, this is an $830 watch on the bracelet, so I may be asking for too much. Like I said, it does screw down, which for me is a plus. Now, the 1956 3H models come with a choice of straps. The default strap is a tropic rubber, and then you could choose a second strap. Now, the price of $790 stays the same whether you choose a leather strap or mesh, but if you choose the bracelet, it goes up to $830, far cheaper than most charge for a bracelet upgrade. Now, this watch does not have drilled lugs, nor does the bracelet or straps have quick release bars, so old school pins and tools here, but they do include the tools, so it's very easy to switch out. The black leather is fairly nice, a little stiff, but I love the texture to it. Now the bracelet, again, really beautiful, oval-shaped links that you would find on some Omega pieces, and a beautiful clasp with an old school extension, but those outer links are high polished, and I would prefer them to be all brushed. Now that's of course subjective, and a really competent watchmaker could brush them out to match the center links for probably not that much. On my 7.5-inch or 19.05 centimeter wrist, the leather strap is on the short side. I believe it's a 115 by 75 millimeter strap, but the bracelet should fit up to an 8.25-inch or 20.96 centimeter wrist. Now, like I said at the beginning, I love this watch because of the warm gray dial and the somewhat likeness to the Bell & Ross V292 series. No, it's not a copy or clone of that watch at all. It's what I consider to be a true homage and what the word used to mean. And of course, if you like the Bell & Ross but don't want to shell out $3,000, this is a really good alternative. The finishing is really nice, and aside from the generic crown and somewhat gimmicky bezel, this is a really attractive watch, and it's got a Swiss movement with the SW200-1, and with all that, I consider it to be an affordable price these days. Now, a viewer recently brought up the Glycine Combat submodels, and even the latest models can be found for about the exact same price as this watch on a bracelet. And yes, that is a good watch as well, but those are dive watches. This is something else. It's also less rugged, it's less to a watch, and that's what I think the brand was going for with this piece. It's also available with other dial colors, and the 1956 lineup also has chronograph and chronograph GMT versions, so check them out on their website if that interests you. That's all for this one. Make sure to ask any questions in the comment section. A written review and the Echo Neutra website are linked in the description. If you aren't already, please make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.